but Randy's sweltering in the parking lot of his doctor's office. So Randy, why don't you just do a core dump, and we'll let you go inside where it's cool.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't really know how to do the core dump other than, if we're going to do this, we really got to get 100% participation from the club, because you can't do this half-assed. And I mean, that's the only thing. If everybody's willing to, step up, and you saw my list. I don't know. I guess I did send it. I don't know if I sent it to everybody on the committee or not.
You didn't send it to me.
I didn't send you a list with like 10 items.
You said you were going to send something, but I don't think I got it, Randy.
I didn't see anything either.
Okay, then that.
Let me
All right.
another. I might have erased it. Did any of you? Who did you send it to?
I thought I just sent it to you, to Bill.
Okay. Well,
because I wanted you to see it before I send it off to the rest of the committee. But at any rate,
okay.
I've tried to contact a number of Rotary clubs who have done such a thing as a golf cart raffle. And I did get feedback from one guy, but he was obviously a delegator, because he delegated 2 other members of his club to give me information, and I haven't heard from either one of them yet. So you know how that works, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely.
and the other thing is, and I think we talked about it maybe over the phone. If we do it, we've got to offer a cash prize in addition to as an alternative to the golf cart, because that'll entice some people who really aren't interested in the golf cart. I guess the other issue is source of golf cart. It would be great if we could get one donated, or at least we could get some business to contribute to the donation of the golf cart. A lot of the clubs that I saw online didn't actually auction off, or not auction, but raffle off a new golf cart. A number of them were raffling off carts that I guess had been donated to them, which changes the game considerably. They were selling tickets for $20, but they had no cost. I mean, they had no skin in the game.
Are you saying they were used carts?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming that, because they were having a raffle at $20 a ticket.
Yeah.
And unless they were, and interestingly enough, there's a club in Richmond who I haven't been able to contact. I think it's Mechanicsville, which must be right on the outside of Richmond.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're in the process of doing it now, having a golf cart raffle. So,
Okay.
and then we have to consider the fact that we don't really have a big audience, but we do have some interesting places to go to try and sell tickets, like the campgrounds, because a lot of those people are interested in golf carts.
Well, I'm going to challenge you on the big audience. Anybody who has $50 in America is a candidate if you're going to give a cash prize alternative.
Well, that's true. That's true. But we still have the Northampton County, Accomack County as our primary stomping ground. So
yeah.
Well, my point is we have to organize an effort that reaches out to as many places as we possibly can. Yeah.
Exactly. What was the subject of your email? Do you remember?
I don't know, probably golf cart or something with golf cart in it.
Okay.
Golf
What I'm
cart
going to
raffle.
ask you to do is resend that to all of us when you get back
Okay.
to your computer. And do any of you have questions of Randy based on what he shared with us? Bill, go ahead.
Well, just a quick comment, Bill. When Randy talked about we didn't necessarily need a new golf cart. I've got a little bit of experience with that. I built a couple of golf carts that were bought off of an old golf course, and I bought one from a dealer. And what the people like Malcolm and the people who do these carts normally do is they'll buy a bunch of them from a golf course who typically uses them for 2 years. What they do is strip the body off, tear them completely down, power wash them, clean them, and either usually put a new fiberglass body on them or repaint them, repaint everything, put new batteries in and add a few accessories, like a lift kit, or they take the golf cart carrier off and put a rear seat on it. A lot of little different fix-up things. And when it's all done, it looks basically like a new cart. And those you can get a really nice one for anywhere from around, the last time I checked, from about $3,500 to $4,500. Now,
Wayne Bell.
Let me grab Wayne because he's a member of the committee. It's Bill Payne. Hello? Yes. Oh, we're 5 minutes into it. Yeah, on Zoom. I thought we sent it to you. Okay, I'm going to resend it to you real quick while we talk. Wayne was a late entry. I thought I had sent him, but keep going, Bill, while I send him the link.
yeah, well, I was just about finished. What I was going to say is, if you go look at the ones that have been rebuilt, I think you'd be surprised at how nice they look. And they're usually typically only 2 or 3 years old. And as long as the motor and the controller unit is good and they have new batteries or almost new batteries, there's nothing wrong with it. I've got a 2006 that runs like it did when it was brand new, and all I've done is change the batteries in it. So I think we'd be okay there. And I think a new one, a comparable cart to that new, is probably going to run close to $8,000. And that may be getting a little bit in deep water for us. But hopefully, maybe, I don't know, but maybe Malcolm would consider contributing the labor if we bought the parts, or giving us a dealer price on something like that. I mean, we might be able to work something out with him, but I think we should definitely consider possibly a tricked out used cart as opposed to just one brand new one, but it would depend on the money.
Bill,
Yeah.
Bill, this is Mike. I purchased a recondition when we moved here, and it was $5,300, and it was a 2013 model. Now, I checked with Elizabeth down here because Malcolm wasn't available. She said between $7,000 and $8,000 for a new one, and that's just a basic club car, not lift or anything like that. And a recondition, you're talking about $5,000 to $6,000.
Okay, let me share with you that when Bill called and said he couldn't make the meeting, he agreed to approach Elizabeth and ask her about what she could do for us. So we've got Bill on that right now, and maybe we can get a get a deal. If not, maybe a reconditioned one is the answer, but it comes down to the numbers, how much we want to raise, how much we're willing to spend, how many tickets we need to sell to achieve it, and so on. So we'll have to noodle on that. Randy, you still there?
Yeah. In fact, in keeping with what Bill said, what Murphy said, my neighbor just bought one about a year ago from Malcolm down there, reconditioned, and that baby's just like brand new. I mean, it's really nice, and he's had no trouble with it. So that's certainly an alternative. I mean, you have to advertise it that way, but that's no big deal.
Well, while we're on the subject, and you can stay on with us, do you think, in terms of, from a marketing perspective, what is more likely to sell, new versus maybe not saying anything at all?
Well, I mean, new, a basic, you know, small tires, non-lifted, non-accessorized cart. And Malcolm, I think, deals with, I don't think it's not Easy Go. I think he uses another brand, but it doesn't matter. But
Club car. It's Club car.
yeah, if you have one of those, I mean, certainly that's going to have appeal to people, a brand new 2020 golf cart. But the majority of people around here tend to want to have something tricked out a little bit, usually with a small lift kit in it, some nice wheels, you know, chrome bumper on the front, a light package, because you're going to have that in there, turn signals, light package,
Right.
and everything else in order to make it street legal. So I think probably we should just get a look at, hey, what do we get for $7,500, $8,000? What do we get brand new? And what do we get for 5,000 or 6,000 tricked out? And
Right.
you know, give us a deal on each of those. Because my first instinct is that we'd have better luck with a really cool looking refurbed cart at a lower price per ticket than we would a really nice brand new one at a higher price. Just
Yeah, you know, I don't think we can go over $50.
no, I don't.
I gotta
Okay,
think
so-
you gotta get that down quite a bit more than $50.
Okay, Wayne is coming on. Let's let him catch up.
Hello.
Hey, Wayne, I apologize. You know, you were a late entry, and I think I hate to say this, but I might have forgotten about you.
That's no problem. It's not the first time somebody has forgotten about me.
Now, hey, Wayne, let us catch you up on the committee. You haven't made a meeting in a long time, so let me make sure you know who all is on our committee. Mike Wacha is a relatively new Rotarian, but comes with a lot of credentials. Yeah, I think you know Bill Murray, of course. Murphy, of course.
Correct.
And Randy Diamond is on the phone.
Okay.
Bill Stram is also on the committee, but he can't make the meeting, and we're going to catch him up later.
Sounds good.
Now, up to what you've missed so far is the discussion about primarily what we should be raffling: a new cart, a refurbished cart, and what's the third option, Bill, you mentioned?
I think we were saying, or in lieu of either one of those, a cash prize. I think that's what Randy said.
Well, a cash
Yeah.
prize, of course, would go with any one of them. But is there a third kind of option for going to Malcolm and getting some cost points?
Well, yeah, I think pretty much what we want to approach Malcolm with would be, okay, what's the basic new club car that would be street legal for Cape Charles? What's a decent looking tricked out one that would be in a refurb car? Basic two options. But you know, with tricked out, you can get more expensive than a new one if you start adding things like stereo and heaters. I mean, people put exotic stuff on these carts, but you know, there's a middle ground where it's nice. And so I think our price points are somewhere between around 4 and 5 and 7 and 8, that kind of thing.
Okay, so there are really two. I thought I heard three.
Two.
So
No.
you know, Wayne, the consideration, of course, is cost and how it goes into the parameters, number of tickets we need to sell, the cost, and so on. So we'll work on that. And then from a marketing perspective, will a new cart be more attractive than a cart? But if the cart looks really great, and maybe we'll have to talk about how we promote our tickets, that might help us, you know, financially pull this thing off. So that's where we are.
Okay.
Yes. Now, Mike, I'm going to ask you to share you're on the committee because you come with a lot of experience. So why don't you just tell us everything you know about this space?
About what, Bill? I'm sorry.
Tell us everything you know about raffling golf carts and your experience up in Delaware.
What we did in Delaware Delaware, we raffled off an automobile every year. And we sold, the other clubs around sold it and they got $1 a ticket. Our tickets were $2 a piece and 3 for $5. We made about $26,000 a year at one point on that. And I'm not sure what the total amount of tickets were. We purchased a vehicle ahead of time and we took that vehicle at various locations and sort of showed it off and sold tickets. And we felt that at that point, something to show sold more tickets than nothing at all. But, you know, that's an option. I just did some quick numbers. If we, depending upon how much we want to make on this project, if we sold, say, $10 a ticket, 3 for $25, sold 2,000 tickets, we could generate about $10,000 after expenses to the club.
Give us those numbers again.
At $10 a ticket or 3 for $25, we could generate about $12,000. That would be on a new cart. If you had a recondition, it would go up to, you know, a little bit higher. And there again, how much do we want to make on it and how many tickets we want to sell? That's where it's all going to fall in line.
Okay.
The other question I've had, in Delaware, we had to get permission from what they call the Gaming Commission to do that. In Virginia, do you have to have anything like that at all to sell raffle tickets?
You know, Bill Murphy is from the school of he'd rather beg forgiveness than ask permission.
We've never asked for anything before except an ABC license.
We've had cash raffles, and we might ask John Burtis if we have to, you know, get approval.
In Delaware,
that's a good point. You don't want to get in trouble.
Now, Delaware, you had to go to the Gaming Commission. Didn't cost you anything, but you just had to let them know, you know, what you're doing with. And if not, there's a terrific fine if you don't. So
we'll investigate that. It shouldn't take long to figure that out.
now that's a John question. He can answer that, I'm sure.
Okay, well let's back into this, guys. By the way, Wayne, you
Yes.
haven't had a chance to just share any thoughts you might have before we start working on this.
Well, I think $10 is very reasonable because when I talked to you last about it, Bill, I do think you need to make the price point reasonable so that you can do a better job of selling the ticket. I also think that we need to act immediately if we're trying to get it done before Labor Day. To Mike's point, it makes sense to be able to show the cart around and not just focus on Cape Charles, but you may want to take it up to Exmoor Plaza and out to Cape Charles Food Line and just show the cart for a couple hours a day. And
That's
so
what
in doing that, you're going to need some time. And I would think if we're trying to have this done by Labor Day, we need to get a cart in place like right away because we want at least 30 days, if not more, to be able to sell tickets.
Yeah, you want at least.
Bill, I'm sorry. I gotta sign off, so I'll get filled in later.
Hey, Randy, we're recording this, so we'll send you a YouTube.
I think to do it effectively, this year is almost out of the question.
That's my worry is that, you know, do we have enough time? Because I don't think I think we need something like this. I think we need to give ourselves about 60 days to really do a good job.
You know, like if you start in the early spring and then raffle it off like 4th of July or even go to Labor Day, you're going to attract a lot more people than you are at this point.
Correct.
Okay. In hindsight, we probably should have thought of this when we knew we weren't going to do crab cakes, but that you know, that's behind us.
I knew.
I do agree that Labor Day is probably the cutoff because if you're going to get, you know, maybe some out of town people that are visiting, it's all over on Labor Day. I don't know if we'll just have to, you know, work on it. I don't know if it really takes 60 days if we work real hard. But
I think at $10, I think we can get enough sold to make it profitable. because the price point is not bad. But of course, I do think that if we had more time, we would do a better job.
Okay.
For example, at Cherry Stone, their big month is October. That's when they generate all the traffic.
We'll say that again, Mike.
Cherry Stone's traffic is the heaviest in October. The month of October is their busiest month for traffic. Other than, of course, the summer, that's their Halloween celebration. It's packed every single weekend.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
dealing with a lot of people.
So maybe Labor Day isn't a problem if we extend it past Labor Day.
I think to get a cart in place and get your tickets and everything, I think this year is almost, sort of washed unless you extend it to the end of the year. And I think that's not really good.
Well, you don't want it to go on forever because, your membership will just lose interest in
No, you don't. No.
You've got to have a tight window. Let's look at some of the parameters. How much do you think we ought to set as a goal for raising?
Well, Bill, I think it ought to be at least what we would normally make on crab cakes. I mean, I would say at the bottom end, you want to probably figure on making a minimum 5,000.
That was my thinking. Any other comment on our goal?
Well, I do have one other thing I want to add real quick. As far as what kind of cart we get and what we do, there's another choice to be made too, whether you want to go gas or electric. Gas costs more. There's obviously pro and con to both, but I would stick with the battery carts, which is what most people have. But
Yeah.
gas.
I agree with you, Bill. Most people have electric carts. I don't think many people really know you have an option of gas.
Yeah.
I know I didn't until somebody said it was gas driven, gas powered. We all agree that a minimum amount of profit on this is 5,000.
Yep, I agree with that.
Okay. Otherwise, it's not worth our time. And what I'm looking to do here is try to salvage what we lost in the crab cake revenue in July. So
How many active members do we have currently?
we have about 34 members. I think realistically, you can only anticipate 2/3 of them really, selling tickets. If we go by our past experience with cash raffles,
And so how many tickets are we thinking per member? At least 10?
Well, depends on what you would price them at. If they're $10, I think it's reasonable. I think we ought to figure the number of tickets we have to sell and then see what we have to lay on each member. And the number of
Gotcha.
tickets we have to sell will be based on what should a cart cost us to raise $5,000. Now, if a cart costs, Bill, what would you? I'm leaning toward this notion of a pimped out used cart. What would that cost? Would you guess?
All right. Well, I'm going to assume that somebody, and I'm going to say Malcolm because, he's a local guy and we probably should, if at all possible, use him.
Yeah.
Even with kind of leaning on Malcolm, and I don't know who would be the best one to do that for a good discount, we probably ought to start with a number around 5,500 for a tricked out used one.
So your cost is $5,500. Let's round that up to 6,000.
Now we should be in good shape for that.
If you sold 1,000 tickets, you could generate about $5,000, $4,000 to $5,000 with $6,000 cart cost.
Yeah.
In fact, I think when we first started talking about this, we we thought maybe 7,500 would be our cost. But at 6,000, then you have to raise 1,100, and at $10 a ticket, how much would that be, Mike? You got your calculator there, it seems.
You'd make about $5,000 at that point, because using about $6,000 for cost of a reconditioned cart. That would be a starting point.
How many tickets would you sell at $10?
1,000 tickets. And, you know, I just threw the thing at like $10 a ticket, 3 for 25. We found in the experience with selling for the car, we sold more at the $3, 3 for so much price, but then you got to consider how much you're going to lose by doing that.
Well, you know, you don't lose anything.
Well, you do if you figure $10 a ticket. And
no, those people would not buy 3 tickets for $30. Actually, you win on a deal like that.
Yeah, you do.
So now, so that would mean 500 tickets at $20, right?
Right. If you're gonna sell 500 tickets, 500 tickets is not a lot of tickets for something like this.
You don't know our club.
Yeah, but what you're giving away in this area is unique because everybody likes and would love to have a golf cart. You know, you're dealing with a golf cart community area that you know that's like their second car.
Well, you know, Bill, I think Mike's making a pretty good point there, because I know what you're talking about. Our past experience of selling raffle tickets or selling tickets to that ill-fated oyster roast. I know it was like pulling teeth sometimes to get people to sell them, but that was for a nice but a fairly small cash prize. But a nice golf cart that everybody knows is worth $5,000 to $6,000. We might be able to get some of the local businesses to jump in and sell some tickets or buy some. I mean, you know.
Oh, we're gonna have to sell like we've never sold before. I mean, we're really at the market.
I think tickets might be doable, but it's like Wayne and Mike said. If we try to cram that in the next 6 to 8 weeks, that and nailing down a deal on a golf cart, I just don't know that we'd be able to get that done. Plus, I mean, the other side of the coin is the club. We're in good shape, but we don't have an endowment fund or anything or any type of fund that we could just go grab that money out of. We have enough to do that, but it would put us right on the line of still being solvent. And I know Paul's going to want to have something to say in this too.
Well, I don't know that we necessarily have to buy a cart. Or, depending on what we can work out with Malcolm, he might let us, borrow one for display.
He might, but if you borrow one, it's going to have to be the one that you end up giving to somebody, I'm sure, or he might say, look, let me put an Eastern Shore Carts logo on both sides of it and I'll give it to you. I mean, we don't know.
We have to talk to Malcolm because that'll determine our cost. But my thinking is maybe going retail, and by retail, I mean a $10 ticket. Because I do know that when we were selling our raffle tickets, when we went, we were selling them for $10, right?
We did something, bro.
Well, we did a 6 for $5.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And people go for the 6 for $5. So I agree that if you did a 3 for $25, they'll sell like hotcakes.
What we did on our vehicle, Bill, in order to be able to have a vehicle available for other clubs to help us out, which maybe this could be, we didn't have to buy it, is we would get a vehicle, the dealers would go ahead and let us use a vehicle. So maybe in this case, Malcolm would be able to let us use a vehicle first, similar to what we would be raffling off.
Yeah. And, we make it very clear, this is not, but at least you see a golf cart. And that would help with the advertising rather than, try and work in, abstract notion.
And what we could do is we could get one mocked up somehow. I'm sure they've got a way to mock them up just like a car. This is what you're going to be getting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, look, Stram has the assignment, and I'm going to talk to him. I have a great relationship with both Elizabeth and Malcolm, and maybe we just go over there and twist his arm real good. I think that we have to really, what I'd like to do is work out a plan that I can bring back to you that will help us decide whether or not we have an opportunity to do it this year, or maybe we should just, maybe we've missed the, you know, the window and we have to defer it. But I sure would like to give it a try, because if you do it, you're gonna have to work hard and do it in a tight time frame anyway. So if we got busy, maybe we could do it. But we have a couple or three pieces of work to do, primarily determining our cost. And then I think a work plan has to be put together. Let me draft a work plan with a timeline, get it back to you guys in a couple of days and see if we have, and then we have to make a go, no go, I think within this week. We have to decide whether or not we're gonna do it. And if we do it, it's balls out. But I think
Sounds good.
with a demo machine and a good marketing program, we should be able to do it.
Wayne, I have a question for you. If we do get into something like this and we're looking at ways to publicize it and do some marketing, I mean, you know, you're in business, you know a lot of people. Do you have some contacts on the marketing side of things that we might be able to reach out to? Not necessarily you have to do it, but somebody we could reach out to sort of get a little spread out publicity on this, maybe at least up and down the shore.
Oh yeah, I think we can do that. Definitely.
Okay. That would help a lot.
And I have the means, and I'm sure other Rotarians have the means to transport the cart back and forth for it to be on display.
Yeah, I can pull it behind my truck. I just don't have a trailer.
Yeah,
But
I
Wayne,
have both.
Wayne, you have a trailer, right?
Yeah, I have a truck and trailer, so I could help do that on weekends, pull it up and down for display.
Great.
Yep. Do that.
All right, gentlemen, I gotta get ready to get off, but I'm more than willing to help any way I can.
Okay, we'll all get off at this point, and I'll
right.
look for an email from you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.